All right, coming up in just a moment, we will do the TAO Daily Tarot. This is the encapsulation of the message. Soulmates, yes or no? You'll find out coming up. Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Daily Tarot, the Tao Daily Tarot reading. Thank you very much. If you are brand new here, thank you for tuning in for the very first time. Please like, subscribe, and share if you can. That's very important as I'm building this channel, and YouTube people want to see a lot of this like, share, subscribe stuff. So please help out. If you're coming back, thank you again so much. Please hit that thumbs up button. That's the like button every time you come to the channel, because again, YouTube numbers, you get the connection, of course. Now, for those who are new to this, what makes the Tao Daily Tarot reading a little bit different from others is, first of all, I do archetypal reading. I take a look at the images on the cards, and I use 4 different decks. I want to get a lot of combinations going here. And when I do that, there's a possibility of giving several cards that are the same. For example, back about a week or so ago, I had 3 cards come out as the 9 of Cups. Now, if I'm only using 1 deck, you can't do that. 2 decks, you can't do that. 3 decks or more, yeah, you can. And that's significant. If in the course of a reading you get 2 or 3 or 4 maybe of something, then that really tells you something, and that really kind of pushes the energy in one way or the other. In fact, speaking of energies, that's really what this is. This is an energetic weather report. Okay, it's a cosmic weather report. I talk about energies. I don't talk necessarily specifically about love or money or health or anything like that. I talk about the energies that are around us all the time. For example, the energy of coming, the energy of going, the energy of pushing, the energy of pulling. Throughout your day, things are coming and going, pushing, pulling. All of this stuff is kind of moving around. So you get this kind of cosmic or energetic weather report, so you know over the next 24, 72 hours or so, what are the energies around you? How do you manipulate? And then you make the choices based on the energies. And you then determine the outcome. Okay, so that's what makes this different. Also, I do something called the hyper shuffle. I'll get to that in a minute. And I try to get all of this done, this whole report, this Tao Daily Tarot reading, in 10 minutes or less. And the reason is very simple. You're busy. You have a lot of things to do. Yes, I know COVID and all that stuff, but you still have a life. And so if this reading goes to 8, 9, 10 minutes, you can easily fit it into your life. And that's the point. To fit it into your life, to fit it to you. That's what makes, I think, in large part, this Tao Daily Tarot reading different. Alrighty, I mentioned something just a moment ago about the hyper shuffle. How about if you see it? So there you go, with a little bit of action there in the middle. That is our hyper shuffle. So let's get to the regular reading, shall we please? This is very, very encouraging on a bunch of different levels. Soulmates, that is the overall temperature card. And you see the number up in the top there, 41. That's a 5. That means change. Soulmates. Question is who? Could this be a love reading? Well, it's always a possibility. Let's see what we have. So that's the overall temperature is soulmates. We go from there to the 6 of Swords, leaving choppy waters, going to something better. Off in the distance there. Yes, yes, yes. That is where the better life is. But right now you're in the process of leaving, or at least realizing that you have to leave something in your life, maybe even in your relationship, because we are talking about soulmates here. At least that's the overall temperature feeling. That maybe it's time to start looking off down the road and start pedaling your way to the better stuff. And to kind of hasten things a little bit, how about the Ace of Wands? Now, Ace of Wands is interaction, it's communication, it's in all forms. Okay. And usually it means a lot of communication, but not necessarily. Here in a Mercury retrograde, I don't know that I could depend on which exact form you're going to get your information from. But there is some communication. There is some information. Could it be with this soulmate? Yeah, that's possible. That's for sure. And especially in a Mercury retrograde, because things from the past often come back in a Mercury retrograde, hence the retrograde action. Alrighty, from there, let's move to the pushing pulling side of the reading, and we get the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords has a reputation as being a thief, and that's, I guess, in part, certainly it's true. Stealth is definitely there, cunning. Alrighty, so there's some sort of planning, and indeed there may be some kind of thievery of one kind or another. But certainly I would look at this card just in general as real cunning. Figuring out how can you make your best move, putting some thought into it. And in a Mercury retrograde, it's not necessarily action. It's looking forward, looking to planning. And if you get that information with that Eight of Wands, maybe that's what sets up this idea of the planning thing, because you've had enough of a broken heart. Three of Swords. You are moving away. Remember, we had that Six of Swords at the beginning, moving away from choppy waters. Well, you're moving away from a broken heart. Maybe to a soulmate. Maybe somebody new is not new necessarily, new maybe to you in this lifetime, but you knew him in a past lifetime. Or maybe somebody from your past, probably recent past, last year or so, comes back. And you try to work out the broken heart stuff. And again, that would take, if you were going to do that, a little bit of thought, alrighty, a little bit of cunning, a little bit of let me figure this thing out. You're not going to talk out loud about it necessarily to anybody, but you're going to think a lot about it, and that's what a Mercury retrograde is all about. But like I said, we're definitely looking at the idea of soulmates. So that's something that we're working at. This could be kind of a romance return sort of a reading. We go to a magnifier, and where do we go? To strength. Alrighty, strength. This is a very powerful card. Outside of being a major arcana, it is also an indication that you are fully prepared to go the distance, and you have the capacity to do so. You are tougher. You are stronger. You are more than you have thought you were, especially in this past year where a lot of people really got kind of sideswiped a little bit, right? But you're coming back into your strength. February, not the time for exerting it. It's the time for building up the strength, for understanding this strength. And again, we go back to the Seven of Swords. Yes, I know it could be a thief, but there's also cunning involved. So there's some thought. How can I best use my strength? Maybe for the soulmate type stuff, huh? Maybe for the soulmate type stuff. You want to put it together. You can't go back to the past. If it's going back to what it was, you're not interested. But if it is a step up, maybe you got something. And to kind of emphasize that idea, we have the Ace of Pentacles. A new beginning, the promise of something valuable in your life. And again, Pentacles could mean money. Everybody kind of goes there. We're programmed to think money. But it could also be love, could be health, could be any number of things. Whatever is important to you, if it's chocolate, if it's babies, it doesn't make any difference. However, again, I'm thinking soulmate, right? So very likely, there could be something or someone re-entering your life during this Mercury retrograde that has tremendous value for you. And you have to figure out how to deal with it. And we wrap it up with a vice versa card in reverse, and that is the Eight of Wands. Now, we just got the Eight of Wands up top, and now we have it repeated. And because we're in a Mercury retrograde, I give this one the nod. Because in a Mercury retrograde, you can still have communication, fast communication, lots of communication in all forms. Texts, phone calls, maybe even face-to-face. But it is either you're not going to get the information that you want, you will need more, or maybe it will be delayed. Okay, and especially the face-to-face stuff. If there comes to a point where you're talking, you're texting, and you go, okay, the next step is we gotta sit down and have a cup of coffee. Well, maybe that can be a little tricky for you given the circumstances right now. But without a doubt, there is a lot of communication coming your way. And a retrograde in February, it kind of highlights that fact. And it's all working toward soulmates. Now, again, it could be somebody in your life coming in. This could be romantic. It could be business. It could be you matching both sides of yourself. We all have a bright side, a dark side. That could be going on as well. And you're having a lot of chit-chat in your own head. I'm thinking this would probably be an outside relationship because of the soulmates thing, but you can never rule that out. Relationships, at best, are always tricky. But I think this is very positive. Expect a lot of communication between now and the end of the month because you are ready to go to safer waters, better waters. You're tired of the pain. You need some time to think it out. You need to understand that you have the strength to do it, and you have to be sure that what you're going after is really valuable. And then you'll know exactly what to do. But I think it's very positive. Soulmates on some level coming back in February. Alrighty, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I would appreciate that very much. Other than that, the next time we get together between now and then, blessings.